Greetings, beautiful friends. Happy Monday to you. I trust you had a beautiful, nurturing, balancing, filling your cup weekend. Here we are with our usual Monday check-in and our Mastering Your Mindset session. Before we start pulling cards, if you've watched these sessions before, you know that I like to just kind of feel into what phase of the moon are we being influenced by. It's so important when we're looking at the idea of liberating our inner truth, with mastering our mindset, with really being our true authentic selves. One of the best ways I know how to do that is to really follow the rhythms and the cycles and the phases of the moon. This week is very important. We have the first full moon of 2025 and it's arriving today. I really like it when I get to talk to you on the day of, rather than saying, in a few days or it's just happened. It feels like it's so much more potent. But this first full moon of 2025, it's in the sign of Cancer. And when it is thought to be, or it's described as being, the moon is at home. And that is because the moon actually is the ruler of the sign of Cancer. It's also known as the wolf moon. I like to kind of just have a wee review, or a little just checking in. What does that mean? So with this being the wolf moon, full moons illuminate all that is being looked at. So this is a time to really, really tell yourself the truth, but really access your home. Of course, your home, you live in your heart. This is such an important time to really follow your rhythm, to really get in touch with what does light you up, what brings you joy, what is the whisper of your soul? Are you listening? Are you creating time to really just feel into what are you walking forward with? What are the emotional truths that show up for you? It's so important when we have a view at this, about this idea of mindset mastery. This is about your internal world. We can look at the external world and say, oh, I wish there was more calmness, more connection, more love, more community, more peace, more, you fill in the blanks. Whatever we wish we could see in the external world, we must cultivate it internally first. And I feel like that's such an important piece around this wolf moon, this full moon in the sign of Cancer. How does that feel for you? Are you listening to your inner guidance? Are you getting in touch with your true nature, with your own inner vibrancy? And if I say anything on these sessions that kind of confuse you, or you need a wee bit more support, or it triggers something in you and you need some more guidance or support, just put it in the comments below or message me directly. When I come and talk to you about these things, my intention is to inspire you to just pause for a moment. Just pause for a moment. Put your hand on your heart and take a deep breath. And see, are you listening to your inner wisdom? Are you setting intentions? Are you moving forward? Are you doing the things that you love? And there is no right or wrong in any of this. It's about simply being willing to show up for yourself, to yourself. And that way we get to make a contribution. We get to, and if we do want to see changes in the external world, we get to be a part of it to the degree that we're willing, and we do show up for our own self first. You first. When I talk about you first, this is in order to be of best guidance, of best support, of service to those that we're here to serve. We have to do it for ourselves first. I read a line somewhere, or I wrote a line somewhere just recently, you can't pour from an empty cup. So therefore, you want to be making sure that you filling your cup always, and this is a mindset piece, always filling your cup and then giving from your saucer. The idea, it's always an analogy that I really like to feel into, is that when we do that way, we never run out. We never run out of the capacity to serve or support or give comfort or guide. but we have to do our cup first. So with this being the first full moon of 2025, and I said full moons really cast the light. There's nothing that we can hide. This is the full moon light says there's nothing hiding in the shadows. So therefore, what can we let go of? That's the first deck of cards that I like to use. Excuse me, got a wee tickle in my throat. Maybe that's part of what we have to let go of. So when we have these mindset check-ins, sometimes there can be something that comes up that we need to let go of. And this is an interesting one. Guilt. How does guilt show up for you? You know, sometimes when we have the light cast upon us, where we are, who we are, we can say, oh, I should have done something different. Oh, I wish I had said that. Or I didn't do this. Or I did do that. Where does guilt kind of derail or show up for you? Excuse me. And is that something that holds you back from really accessing your own vibrancy, your own inner guidance? Just see where that comes up. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But just see. That's just a check-in, showing up for you. Is guilt something that kind of blocks you from finding your joy, following your joy, being in alignment with your authentic self? Things of that nature. Okay, so the next card I'm going to pull is from the tarot. I like to get one tarot card. Haha, this is an interesting one too. This is a 9 of Wands. So 9 of Wands, it's an interesting one. Wands are usually to do with us following our soul's calling, our mission. It's like being in the right place at the right time. However, the 9 of Wands feels like there's a little bit of stickiness. Like it's kind of like, gosh, I worked so hard. Actually, it's an interesting one that it's a 9 because 2025 is also a 9. So see, 9s are to do with the ending, culmination, which actually so is the full moon. But it's also about letting go. So when we are always works in progress, we're always in motion. However, it's so important to realize that we cannot take forward everything. We cannot take forward every belief, every mindset, every goal, every intention. So with this full moon energy, does it cast the light on that which no longer serves who you have become? This is something to just really feel into also. We're always becoming, we're always kind of going home to the fullness of who we truly are at the core. Like I said, if that brings up anything for you, just let me know, put it in the comments or message me directly. But moving on, and I realize whenever I shuffle these that they're loud. So forgive me if this is irritating your eardrums as I shuffle the Intuitive Whispers Oracle. I've been finding these cards, or the wisdom that comes with this, such a beautiful support to the idea of letting go, to the idea of mastering your mindset. Because part of the whole piece around following the cycles of the moon is following your own rhythm. How you interact with that rhythm is unique to you. That's one of my favorite questions. Put your hand on your heart and say, how do I feel about myself here? And follow that. And that's what these whispers, intuitive whispers are. Oh, I giggle. Then I giggle at which cards come up. Let go of control. I like that one. Let go of control. Where does control show up and maybe stop you seeing the fullness of what's possible, or stop you seeing where you do need to do something or you don't? So let go of control is an important one. We can set intentions. We can move forward towards our goals and our choices and our dreams. But then we have to flow with what shows up, because it's not about, sometimes I think control comes from overthinking and over worrying about things. Like this one, Inspiration Hunt. That's a beautiful one. Thinking this is the wolf moon. The wolf goes on a hunt. Inspiration Hunt. Can you look for or go within and tap into what's looking for you. You know, whenever we have a question, I've said this to you before, when we have a question or we're wondering about something, what's the best choice, what's the best direction, what's the best thing to do, the answer is always there. We need to allow it to land. But if we get too over attached to, oh, the answer's got to look this way, or it's got to be this big booming voice that comes in my ear, it doesn't actually happen that way. So by looking for inspiration, it can actually help you get in touch with your intuitive nature, with that which does bring you joy, if that makes sense. And the last one, and that's it, this was a perfect one, message from your third eye. So if you're on an inspiration hunt, is there an intuitive hit? Is there a piece of wisdom that's whispering? You see, that's the thing about intuition too, is it doesn't keep repeating itself. It doesn't come in these big loud voices necessarily. Sometimes it does. But it can also, and more often, just be if you're sitting there going, what about this, and what about this, and what about this, and what about this, and your intuition might just say yes. What does that mean? It's important to be constantly aware of what did I just say in order to get that yes. So by getting those messages, sometimes it means watching your rhythm, watching your thinking process, watching your breath, coming into your heart space. So that's what the flavor is for this. I'm going to wrap the session up. I'm going to finish off this session with one of my Liberate Your Inner Truth cards, because that's the whole vibe of this mindset mastery, is to really get in touch with, to trust, to access, to depend upon your inner GPS, which is the truth of you. So let's see what comes up for this week's session. And this is a nice reminder. I am valuable. You are valuable. Yes, you are. Drop into that. Let me read this out to you. I take care of myself because I am valuable. My life has more value than words could ever describe. Oh, I like that. I take each day in stride because what makes life exciting is the spontaneity of everyday life. That's a beautiful accompaniment to this full moon in Cancer, this wolf moon that we are being embraced by today and this week. I wish you a beautiful week ahead. I'll be back again with you next week for our next session. Much love to you.